In the start of the movie we see a big city where both the rich and the poor live together, but the rich don't care about the poor at all. In fact, they don't consider the poor to be anything in front of them. This movie is based on a man named Arthur who lives in this city. Arthur used to live with his mother. He loved doing comedy. He wanted to become a big comedian one day. His ideal was a man who hosted a very big comedy show. Arthur always used to say that one day I will stand with him in his show, and Arthur used to work very hard every day to get there. Then one day, Arthur was doing comedy to advertise a company's signboard on a road when some mischievous kids came and snatched his board and ran away. Arthur, in his Joker disguise, runs after those kids to get his signboard back, but those kids make him run a lot and hit him on his face with the same signboard, which breaks the signboard. And they all together start beating Arthur very badly. Arthur feels very sad and goes to his boss and starts telling him everything about what the kids did to him, but his boss scolds him instead. He says, "Have you lost your mind? How can kids do something like this? Now I won't even give you your salary." Here, Arthur had a lack of confidence, so he couldn't say anything about himself at this time. He comes out from there very sad and starts thinking, "Am I so bad that no one understands my words and doesn't believe me?" He came home and started dancing in a strange way. Here we see that his body had become very weak. The next day, Arthur meets his colleague and tells him about the same kids who beat him up yesterday. His colleague says to him, "Dude, this is very wrong. You should have protected yourself." Saying this, he gives him a gun and says, "Keep this with you. It will be useful in the future." At first, Arthur refused to take the gun, but the man forced him to take it. After taking the gun, Arthur leaves for his home. When he was going home by bus, there was a small child in front of him. He starts trying to make him laugh, and the child also starts laughing loudly seeing his antics. Seeing this, the child's mother gets angry and she angrily says to him, "Stay away, don't bother us." Hearing her say this, Arthur starts laughing in a very strange way. In fact, we are told that Arthur has a serious psychological problem and he can't control his laughter. He laughs without any reason. He gives a card to that angry lady, in which his disease was described in detail. After coming home, he starts taking his medicines. Now, since he was very poor, this medicine was very expensive for him, so he used to get this medicine for free from a medical center built by the government. Now one day, he goes to a psychiatrist. She asks him to show her his diary and what he writes in it. As soon as she opens his diary, it only says, "I don't want to die the way I have lived my life." After this, when he goes home from there, his mother asks him if any letter came from Thomas. Arthur says, "No, no letter came today either." In fact, in this movie, Arthur is shown as a very rich person, and people are very afraid of him. His mother says to him, "If he comes to know about our situation, he will definitely help us." When he goes out for some work the next day, on his way back, he meets a single mother who also has a small daughter. Here, Arthur finds her very nice, but he comes back home. Here, his mother again asks him about the same letter. "He is not going to help us," Arthur says and leaves from there. The next day, the same girl comes to Arthur's house. She starts saying to Arthur, "I have been noticing for some time that you are following me." Arthur says, "Yes, I like you." Hearing him say this, the girl starts laughing, and they quickly become friends. After a few days, Arthur gets an offer for a Joker's job from another place. It is a children's hospital, and when Arthur was dancing there, the same gun falls out of his pocket, and he is also fired from this job. He calls his boss and says, "This is just a toy gun." Then his boss says, "No, I know very well that your colleague gave you a real gun, and you yourself took the gun from him." Here, Arthur's heart is hurt again because his colleague had forced him to take this gun. Then we see that Arthur is going home sitting in a train. It is revealed that they were Thomas Wayne's men. They were teasing a girl sitting in the train. Seeing this, Arthur starts laughing because of his mental disorder, and those three men start thinking that he is laughing at them. Because of this, they start beating him very badly. They beat him so much that blood starts coming out of his mouth. Arthur was trying to tell them about his illness, but those three were not listening to anything he was saying. Now here, Arthur gets angry at those three and takes out his gun and shoots all three of them. He starts running away from there in fear and starts thinking, I have killed 3 people now. He locks himself in a bathroom. At first, he was very scared, but here he starts dancing in a very strange way. Looking at him, it seemed that he had no regrets now and was dancing with a lot of peace. After coming home, he watches the news in which Thomas is speaking. He says that the 3 people who were murdered were his men and that a joker killed them. But here, the poor people of this city were supporting the joker instead of those 3 because he was striking against the rich in the form of a joker. Now Arthur goes to his psychiatrist again, and she starts telling him that this is the last time we are meeting because the government has stopped giving us funds, and after this, I can't treat you for free. Arthur is broken again and comes out sadly. From here, we directly see Arthur in a comedy show where he is trying to make people laugh, but he is not able to do so because at the same time, he starts laughing loudly. Because of this, his show gets ruined, and he leaves from there for his home. After coming home, his mom starts saying to him, Son, post this letter for Thomas. After reading the letter, Arthur couldn't believe his eyes. He goes to his mother and says, Why did you hide all this from me? His mother says to him, I didn't do all this intentionally. In fact, Thomas and I loved each other very much. We even wanted to get married, but I was very poor and he was very rich, so we both couldn't get married because of society. The next day, Arthur leaves to meet his dad. When he gets there, Thomas's son was standing behind the gate of his house. Arthur starts doing childish things there and was trying to make him laugh too, but at the same time, Thomas's worker comes. He says to the child, Don't talk to strangers, and tells Arthur to leave from there. Arthur starts saying to that man, I will not leave without revealing the truth because my mother worked for Thomas for 30 years, and they both loved each other, and I am no one else's son but Thomas's. To which the butler says to him, You and your mother are both crazy because your mother made up this story herself. She has nothing to do with Thomas. Hearing this, Arthur feels very bad and he leaves from there. As soon as Arthur comes home, he finds out that his mom has had some kind of an attack and has been shifted to the hospital. When Arthur was sitting outside the hospital, 2 policemen come to him. They ask him, Do you know those 3 men who died in the train that day? Then Arthur says, No, how would I know who they were? Here, he finds out that these police officers asked his mother the same question, because of which his mom had an attack. After some time, he comes to his mother, and the same girl is there. At the same time, the TV was on, in which Arthur's favorite TV host was there. The same comedian whom Arthur liked very much. He starts watching that TV show with a lot of love, but while watching it, he is shown his own face on the TV show. Actually, his favorite comedian was making fun of him. After seeing this, Arthur is very broken that his ideal is making fun of him. This is what made his impression. When Thomas comes home, he sees in the news that the condition of the city has become very bad. Poor people wearing Joker masks have come out on the streets and are striking against the rich. Arthur is very happy to see people as jokers. He feels that for the first time, his job or something about him has been praised. We see that the theater where the poor people were striking, inside that theater, the rich people were watching a movie, and Arthur had also arrived there. The police also come to stop that strike. The police were telling them not to do so, but no one was ready to listen to them. There is a commotion everywhere, and taking advantage of this, Arthur goes inside that theater. He goes to the theater's washroom, where Thomas had also come. Arthur goes to him and calls him Dad, and says, I am your son. My mother and you were once together. Thomas starts saying to him, I don't know any woman by this name, and punches him in the face and leaves from there. From here, Arthur goes to his house, and at the same time, he gets a call from the police. They wanted to investigate the murder of the 3 men that happened in the train that day with Arthur. At the same time, Arthur also finds out that his favorite comedian has invited him to his show. In fact, because of the clip of Arthur that he played in his show's ratings had increased a lot. Because he becomes very happy and gets ready and leaves to go there. But then he remembers that Thomas's butler had said that his mother is crazy, so he goes to the same mental hospital where his mother was once treated. He asks those people for his mother's file, but they refuse to give it to him. So he steals that file and runs away from there. It was written in it that Arthur's mother had a relationship with someone else. He used to torture her in a very strange way. He used to beat her, and during this, Arthur also got a head injury, because of which he has become a victim of this disease today. He goes straight to his friend, that is, the same single mother, but here we find out that she was not real. Actually, that girl was just his imagination, and he used to have many visions. Arthur gets very disturbed because of his mother's lies. He gets so angry that he goes to the hospital and kills his mother with a pillow. After coming home, he finds a picture in which it was written, "I like your smile," which was written by Thomas. While this picture was his mother's. Here he realizes that his mother was not lying. He starts doing his Joker makeup. Here he becomes very sad. He couldn't understand anything about what was happening around him. At the same time, his same colleague comes there. He starts asking him, "I want to ask something about the 3 murders that happened in the train that day, and even your mom's murder." Here Arthur starts feeling that these people have come again to make his life hell. So in a fit of anger, he kills his own colleague very badly. After killing him, he gets ready with the Joker makeup. Here Arthur had worn the full Joker costume. Here he was now getting ready to go to his favorite comedian's show. He is very happy and was going dancing on the way. At the same time, those 2 police officers also come who were investigating the incident that happened in the train that day. Seeing them, Arthur runs away from there and enters a train. In the same train, there were also many people who were wearing a Joker costume. The police also can't find him among so many people. Taking advantage of this, he comes out from there and starts going towards his favorite comedian's show. When he comes in front of him, he asks him, "Are you also a Joker? Are you also against the rich?" Arthur requests him, "Don't tell people anything about me, except that I am an ordinary Joker." Further, their live show is started. The audience is very happy to see him and is appreciating this. There, Arthur's favorite comedian starts asking him, "Why have you come here as a Joker?" Then Arthur says to him, "I always wanted to be happy as a Joker and wanted to spread happiness among people too. But when people liked me in this form, I also thought, why not come like this?" He also says a very surprising thing here. He tells everyone in this live show that the 3 people who were killed in the train that day were killed by no one else but him. He says, "I told you all this because until now, how many people have died? How many rich people have ruthlessly murdered poor people? But has anyone ever noticed this? Has anyone ever raised their voice against the rich people? And when I killed the rich people, why are people making so much noise? Are all human beings not equal, or do rich people have some special quality?" He says that the society here has become very bad. It only thinks about its own benefit, and even if you have invited me to your show today, this is not your mercy at all because your show's ratings were increasing because of me, so you did this to me. But Arthur's favorite comedian says, "That's not the case." Here Arthur angrily says, "You are still lying." Saying this, he takes out his gun and shoots him in front of everyone. People get very scared and start coming out from there, but here we can see Arthur with a lot of confidence. Now he is not afraid of anyone. Seeing his actions, the police arrest the Joker, that is, Arthur, and start taking him with them in their car. On the way, he sees that he has many supporters who are supporting him. At the same time, some people in an ambulance car collide with that police car, and the Joker comes out. He joins all those poor people and stands on top of the same police car. All the people could see him here and were patting him on the back. Blood was coming out of his mouth and nose, but with that blood, he makes a smile and spreads his hands and starts laughing loudly. Here, Arthur's smile was a smile behind which many things like pain, suffering, and sadness were hidden. Now Arthur had become the hero of all those people, And he looked very happy here that finally everyone was praising him. On the other hand, we see Thomas, who was leaving the city with his present wife and his son, but at the same time, a joker standing on the side shoots those people, but he does not do anything to their son. The scene is shifted, and we see the joker, that is, Arthur, with a psychiatrist. Here too, Arthur starts laughing. Then the psychiatrist asks him, "Why do you keep laughing without any reason?" Then Arthur says to her, "You will never be able to understand this feeling of ours." Saying this, he comes out from there, where there was blood stuck under his shoes. Here, one thing becomes clear, that how a good person turns into a murderer. In the last scene of the movie, we hear that when something bad is done to someone, even if that person is not bad, he has to become bad one day or the other. Arthur was tortured to such an extent that his feelings inside him died, and now he was very happy in this form, and with this, the story also ends.